Hi, I'm Sinistra and welcome to Nikipedia. Infinity Nikki, it's stunning, it's stylish, and it's shockingly free-to-play friendly and generous, but let's be honest, it's not perfect. It's almost perfect, especially for a gacha game, but it's not perfect yet, and I still think we're missing a lot of features. With its monthly updates, the content can start to feel a bit dry. I'm definitely feeling it now, definitely at the end of this Revelry season. I'm just doing my dailies, logging on, and not really knowing what else to do. I've ended up completing so many things that should have taken so much longer because I've just had nothing to do. Here are some things that I think should be added to Infinity Nikki, also mixed in with some of my strong opinions, but here are some things that I think could really strengthen the long-term success of Infinity Nikki, coming from someone who, I've played a lot of video games and I really enjoy Infinity Nikki, and these are some things I think just should be added for the long-term enjoyment of old fans, new fans, all of us. I think this should be great and I think these should be added to the game. Just before we continue, I've written quite a script for this one, so don't mind if I'm looking down and reading. I'm wanting to get all of my opinions and everything I think clear and concisely across, so don't mind if I'm looking down. I'm not ignoring you, I'm just reading. I'm also brutally dyslexic, so it might not even sound like I've written a script, but let's continue. Let's get into what I think should be added in Infinity Nikki. The first thing I think should be added in Infinity Nikki is something similar to Love Nikki's competition feature. Love Nikki had a feature very similar to World of Warcraft's Trial of Style. Yes, I'm a World of Warcraft girly, and Roblox's Dress to Impress, but done significantly better. In Love Nikki, you would style an outfit that matches the current theme, and you would vote on other stylists' outfits in a way that circumvents stylists' mass voting or creating and developing sort of influencers who would always win regardless of their outfits. At the start of a competition in Love Nikki, you are given 30 likes, which will recharge, sort of like vital energy, to vote on random stylist outfits 2 at a time. So you'd be picking one or the other rather than voting from a list of your entire server, which cultivates a much more fairer game environment and gives everyone a chance to do well. You'd also receive a reward every 10 likes, so it's incentivizing stylists to come back and vote, and it's also a renewable source of premium currency, and in this bloody economy, we all need diamonds. If this feature was ever added to Infinity Nikki, which I hope it does, and I have a feeling it will be, this needs to be implemented in a very similar way that Love Nikki does it. They need to avoid stylists mass voting on specific stylists and popular content creators just because they're popular, and really create this fair and welcoming competition environment that encourages players to participate rather than ignoring the feature because the only people that win are the 3 popular content creators on their server. I've played a lot of World of Warcraft's Trial of Style when that comes around, and almost every time I get put into a lobby with the same people and the same players who would vote on the exact same person every single time, and they would wear something random and unrelated to the theme, and it just made me ignore it altogether because it wasn't fair. It wasn't made for the person who made the best outfit relating to the theme. It was made for essentially people to exploit. I really hope Infinity Nikki goes the Love Nikki way and doesn't go the live service sort of live lobby way, which is never fun and is never fair. Yes, I know, we do have style battles in the game already, but the themes are irrelevant, it's a point system. If you've ever played Infinity Nikki, you will know that when you do style battles, you wear the bummiest, fuck ugly outfits, and you win anyway because it's a point system and not actually a styling to the theme system. I'd love to actually use my pieces and everything I've collected to create outfits that actually match a theme. I think this would also encourage stylists to craft items they maybe never would have crafted otherwise or just ignored, and also bring the community and stylists together. Currently, you can submit outfits on the Discord when they have certain events going on, but an in-game version would obviously just be better. Adding to this, I think we could also have a photo competition as well, because the Infinity Nikki photo system is in-depth, it's beautiful, it's getting a big update in 1.5. As you can see, I use the photo system to use for backgrounds of my videos, I use it for shorts. It is so versatile, and I think a photo competition with the same random one or the other voting style would be another way for stylists to just express their creativity. It would also force players to travel around the world and explore to find the best photo spots with an outfit to match. It's so strange that these don't exist, but I think they would add so much life and creativity to the game and the community. Please, Infold, I'm begging you, let's yell at them about this so they do it. I have a feeling this might come in the future. It was a popular feature in Love Nikki, but that's quite an old game with pretty dead servers, so fingers crossed this comes in the game. Infinity Nikki already has so many options when it comes to how you dress up your Nikki, but my one gripe is that there is no option for layering or an undershirt option, and I am just so desperate for a feature like this. You'd have your normal selection of tops or dresses, and then you'd have an underlayer which you can put under dresses and shirts like turtlenecks, mesh tops with long flowy sleeves, tight shirts, and these layering pieces would be far more skin tight, and I think they would make lots of pieces far more dynamic in how we use them. I dress quite goth and extravagantly a lot of the time, and I usually am wearing a mesh top underneath a dress, or I'm wearing a singlet and with a t-shirt underneath it, and the dress my Nikki's wearing right now is the perfect example of something I would wear a flowy mesh top under, or I would wear something like a turtleneck under. I don't dress conservatively, it's just the way that I like to dress. I don't know, it's just a really big part of how I know a lot of other people dress, and I don't mean to say cover up your Nikki's because it's ungodly. I think we could have a lot more dynamic outfits, and we could have also added pieces to outfits with an underlayer or just an extra layer of clothing I could wear under dresses or tops. I just think it could be way more dynamic than what we've got at the moment. A perfect example of this is one of my favorite dresses. It's this leather dress with this button-up top underneath. I think if these were two separate pieces, it would be far more dynamic for both of them. The leather dress is really pretty, and I think it would look good with other things underneath it and separately. And the actual button-up top is beautiful, and I'd love that as a separate piece. So I'm wanting just more layers to be able to create my Nikki's outfits more dynamically. I'm not saying they need to go back and separate all the pieces. I just would love an extra option for layering. Like we have jackets, I would also like an undershirt. A feature every stylist and their fucking dog has been asking for is more skin tones. We're not asking for much, we're just asking for a wider variety of skin tones so everyone feels represented in Infinity Nikki. I'd also like to take the skin tone tab out of the makeup tab and have it have its own section. I would also like to be able to lock a skin tone or select one and not have it removed when I remove all the accessories and clothes off my Nikki. Not gonna lie, it's pretty shameful for a game in 2025 that releases to come out with 3 skin tones. And I know that older Nikki games have only had the 3 skin tones, but if you're giving me the option, why have you only given us so little? I think we need some more warm tones, some more cool tones, and I think we need some darker tones too, because honestly, it's pretty shameful the amount of options we have at the moment compared to the amount of socks we have, the amount of makeup we have, the amount of shoes we have. It just seems like they've ignored it or brushed past it. It's a really small change. It would make a big difference to the community, and the community is so accepting and loving, and it would just be, I just think it would be the best option and the easiest change that they could make to help Infinity Nikki last a lot longer by being more inclusive with the skin colors that they choose to include in the game. Also, having the option to have one glove on at a time or having 2 different gloves on, as well as 2 different earrings or having 1 earring on, I think it would just add more customizability, and it would add a lot of, I just would be able to be more flexible with the outfits I'm wearing. I'm a really big fan of the book series The Stormlight Archives, and the women in that book have something called a safe hand, so they cover one hand at all times, and sometimes it's these big flowy sort of like drapey things connected to their dresses, or it's just a glove. And sometimes I want my Nikki to have a safe hand, and sometimes I want to dress my Nikki up like Shalon. I just think it would be a really great way to add more flexibility with the items that we have, especially if you're a new player and you don't have a whole lot but you still want to make some banging outfits. I think this would be a really great option, and you wouldn't have to change much. You wouldn't have to add anything. It would just be adding a feature to have one glove on, or having a left and a right glove, or a left and a right earring. This last one is a stretch, but I'd love to have more hair color options. Not in the Sims way that every hair has the same colors and you get to pick from one of the preset colors, but in a way that works in Nikki. Right now, the only way you can get a different variant of a hair that you like is by getting the evolution of the outfit, And they can keep that. There is no need to change that. I do like that. But the way I would do it is, once you've glowed up an outfit to the max level, you would unlock 2 other hair options for a total of 3 different hair colors. For example, the Afternoon Shine outfit's hair, which is originally blonde, once you had glowed up just the hair, you would then unlock a brown and a black option. So you would have blonde, brown, and black, base normal colors of hair. And then once you had evolved the outfit and received the teal color, you could then upgrade that hair and glow it up to the max level. You would then unlock a pink and a red. So I think evolutions could have cooler colors. They could have maybe a fun detail in the hair, an extra ponytail, I don't know. But I think these color additions would go well with the skin tone additions too. Like, I just think it would be really cool if I had more options for hair that weren't extra hairs. I don't want more hairs, I just want more colors of the same hairs. And I'm not asking for a color wheel, I'm not asking to have, infinite options of colors. I just would like some more thoughtful color options, so it would go more with different outfits I'm wearing, and it could make hair far more dynamic. If any of these features were ever added, I think this would also be a great time to add more basic clothing items like plain colored skirts, tops, pants, jewelry, etc. I know I'm pushing it, but with some plain pieces with no icons, fucking kill them. Like, I'm specifically talking about you, Elegant Chic. I went and collected that outfit recently. I went to craft it and realized that nice, beautiful black, tennis skirt has this fuck off, logo on the side, and I just want some plain pieces, plain denim shorts, some plain tennis skirts, some plain tops. This would go with the layering under the clothing. I would just like some more plainer pieces to go with my more exciting pieces. Like, my top and my bottoms and my shoes and my socks and my accessories can't all be crazy. There has to be a balance, and I want to dress how I dress in real life, which is a balance between really crazy pieces and plain pieces. So please hear me, please give me just plain hoops or plain pants or just something. And I know we do have things like this in the game. I just think a lot of basic pieces would really go far. The next thing I think should be added to Infinity Nikki is something called weekly resets. My World of Warcraft is really going to shine here, but there needs to be more ways to get shiny bubbles and diamonds for us in-game stylists. Currently, we have daily wishes and that month's events to receive diamonds, which honestly isn't that much, and they are often extremely finite. By the time you're in-game, you would have already completed all the non-renewable sources of diamonds, which slows down the flow of diamonds just so greatly. You end up getting this little pissy little trickle of diamonds, and that's it. I completely understand that there needs to be a reduction of diamonds and shiny bubbles as you continue. It stops you from speeding through the game and max leveling every outfit super quickly, but it's so unfortunate that most of us stylists need to skip majority of the banners just to save enough diamonds to be able to pull on our favorite banners or possible future banners we might like more. I'm not saying we need to get hundreds and hundreds of diamonds a day, I just think a more renewable way of getting diamonds for us in-game players would be so perfect to keep stylists coming back every day and every week. How I think this could be implemented is certain activities resetting every week, like the games that you play out in the world, and maybe having some new specific caves that would pose quite a challenge to actually get through and were different every week. Weekly courses that would randomize every week that were challenging and took time to get through, not because there was a cap every day, but because they were actually challenging. Maybe we would have some weekly quests that would randomize. They might end up being quite monotonous and boring, but I don't think they have to be deep to be worth doing. They could even have specific pieces that you could receive from doing these quests to slowly complete an outfit over maybe 3 or 4 months, and I think that would encourage stylists to complete them and come back to do them weekly. Currently, the reduction of diamonds at endgame is to encourage you to buy stellarite and crystals from the shop, but adding another avenue to get more diamonds wouldn't stop people buying from the shop. It would just give stylists more opportunities to pull from banners and not have to skip the majority of banners in hopes that there's a better one in the future. I have watched so many videos on how to get more diamonds, and most of them have been playing since day one and they have only pulled on a single banner. That's how they have more diamonds. If you've ever watched someone playing Infinity Nikki and they are a long-term player, you will notice the thousands and thousands of diamonds that they have. they're either a whale or they have just literally pulled on nothing. Having a new banner every month is essentially pointless if the majority of stylists don't pull on them in fear of wasting the finite amount of diamonds that they've been saving for months and months. I understand that they do this to make money, they do this to get you to spend money in the shop, but most of us don't have the money to pay for upwards of 180 pulls or more for evolutions or outfits each month, so what's the point in gatekeeping diamonds? Daily wishes give you 90 diamonds a day, which if you do them every day over an entire month, you'll receive 2,520 diamonds, which is enough to pull twice. It's enough to pull literally twice. Yes, there is the mirror crown and there are other avenues to get small amounts of diamonds, but it's just not enough for us in-game players, especially us mostly free-to-play stylists, to even get a chance to pull on full banner outfits. I know that turned into a bit of a rant there, but Infinity Nikki is already one of the most generous gacha games out there. I recently had to play some other gacha games for doing some research for another video I'm writing, and holy shit, Infinity Nikki is so great. And I think keeping the focus on fun and rewarding gameplay will keep the game going rather than what I feel like they're doing, which is just forgetting about the in-game players or the players who have already completed everything and are now feeling the need to hoard diamonds for months and months and months for the hope of a better future banner, or they might skip something they actually really loved because they had hopes for the future when you should just be able to pull on a banner if you like to. I'm not saying that you shouldn't save your diamonds and there should be an abundance of them. I'm saying that I think we should get more opportunities to pull on banners rather than having to either pay lots of money or just hoard and hoard and hoard. I love this game and I love this community. I love making videos and I love being a part of the Discord and Reddit communities. Y'all are all so lovely and it's just such a nice community to be a part of. I have had something looming over my mind for a while, and it's the possibility that Infold takes the game in a more money-hungry direction and starts catering towards its whales and dolphins rather than catering towards the majority of its player base. The devs do listen to us, they implement things and updates that we ask for, they change things that aren't working, and they sure as hell listen to us when we complain. This is the first game that I've ever experienced that feels like it's made with women in mind. The game isn't about min-maxing and extreme optimization, it's about creativity and kindness at its core, which has really fostered this loving community, welcoming women and LGBTQ+ people who have maybe felt really left out in other gaming spaces. I used to be quite into World of Warcraft, and a big part of that game is joining guilds and raiding, and quite a heavy emphasis on communication with your guild, and I, as a disabled person, had a really hard time. Lots of people would often use, males specifically, often using slurs and just really offensive language that was directly derogatory towards me and other women and other disabled people, and it just made me so unbelievably uncomfortable that I ended up avoiding raiding and guilds just altogether. Things Infold can do to continue the longevity and the strength of the community in the game is to keep the gacha system accessible and usable for all players regardless if they spend money or not, and that kind of goes into my weekly resets and more accessible diamonds, especially for in-game players. Also making sure that pulling is not necessary to progress like Genshin Impact and other games of that nature, and continuing to be transparent and open about what's going on and fostering a strong community will keep the game popular for a very, very long time. There are also things we can do to keep the community thriving and healthy and a kind space, and that's by just being kind and welcoming to each other, continuing to give Infold honest feedback about what we like and don't like, and continuing to be loud and make sure our voices are heard to Infold so they know exactly what we want and exactly what we don't like. This is more of a personal gripe. This is kind of geared towards Infinity Nikki content creators and anyone wanting to start making content about Infinity Nikki. I think we should be avoiding these weird clickbaity channels that post how to guarantee 5-star pulls, how to get 1 million free diamonds, how to get this guaranteed, how to get free that type of videos. I've seen them cropping up on YouTube and TikTok over the last couple of months, and they always have these big flashing Fortnite text in the thumbnails and these clickbait titles just trying to get your views. They are just really scummy, and I really hate them. As someone who does this out of love and out of passion, I have wanted to make content for a really long time, and I used to make Littlest Pet Shop videos quite a while back in the day. I have existed on the internet for a really long time, and these sort of channels crop up in most communities. They're always scummy and they're always shitty. They are always trying to make a quick buck and pump out as much content as possible just to rake in as many views as possible. That was more of a personal opinion. I told you I would be sharing some of my more hot takes in this video, but the majority of the Infinity Nikki YouTube community is so fantastic. They are all so lovely and kind. Just, I love you guys all so much. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it to this point, oh my god, you're a real fan, you're a real fucking G. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like, I did my makeup really nicely today. I have to do it quite intense because I turn the contrast quite down on my camera. So I hope you like, I think I look so beautiful. My earrings match my nose piercing. I think they look so beautiful. I think I'm looking really stunning today. I look fucking crazy in real life. I look batshit, but I hope you liked this video, I hope you liked me, and I hope you come back for the next one. I am so excited for 1.5, I'm going fucking crazy, I'm chomping at the bit, I'm champing at the bit. It's like, when I'm recording, it is probably about 6 days away, but when this comes out, it'll probably be like 4 or 5 days away. Oh my god, I'm so excited, I can't wait for all the videos that will come out, and I can watch, and all the videos I can make about it. Oh, I'm so excited. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I won't keep you any longer. Have a good rest of your night or day or eternity. Goodbye.